Hi, this is Blasphemer, and you're watching Metalshop TV. I think we're still growing. I think the feedback for Epic, for our latest album, has been really good by press and fans alike. So it's been very positive, and you know, we're just enjoying the fruits now. You know, playing festivals, summer festivals, going on a big tour in September and October. So yeah, we're just building. You know, that's what we're doing, and I'm confident. You know. It's a band with a lot of talent. Everybody's like very talented. I think the music is interesting. It's something different. You know, it's a mix of things. You know, yeah, I think overall it's an exciting thing. And yeah, we're just, as I said, we're just keeping building. That's essentially what we're doing now. Not really. I mean, I think if there's will, you know, there's a way. You know, and I had the will when I started VLTIMAS back in 2015, maybe 16. I don't remember now. When I started making those first riffs, I knew that I had something going. You know, and you know, since I quit Mayhem as well, I didn't really do that much kind of extreme stuff. You know, so this was kind of my way of getting back into that kind of path. You know. And no fear, just jump into it. You know, the most important thing is self-realization. It's not about listening to other voices, you know. So yeah, it's. I don't think you're ever too old to start something new. You know, it's like I see it like that. As long as there's a will, there is a way, and you know, this is what we do. You know, I'm a musician. I've never done anything else in my whole life. You know. This is what I based my life on. So it's great to take some chances every now and then, you know. And I think VLTIMAS is essentially a proof that it's a successful proof in a way, you know, that it's risks worth taking, essentially, yeah. No, it just happened because I don't want things to be calculated, you know. I want to gather the people that I think can work for the project, and then let's see what kind of magic happens, you know. Of course, I'd written a lot of riffs, so I knew what my stance and my stand were, you know. And when I presented this to the others, I also kind of imagined what they would do on top of it, you know. But I think that the most important thing is like when you create a band, it's like the chemistry between everybody, you know. So I knew that obviously David was going to bring in some of his. I mean, he has a legendary voice, and as you can hear on our records too, you know. And the same thing with what Flo brought in, you know. It's his style and his technique, and you know, it's so I think that the outcome it's not calculated. Essentially, it sounds like that because it's the three of us, you know. If you change one member, it will sound different, you know. This is the synergy, this is the energy that the three of us created for those two records, you know. So yeah, change one out and there will be kind of a slightly, not imbalance, it will just be a different energy filling the gap, you know. So yeah, it's exciting times ahead too, you know. We're slowly starting to work on album number 3, so, you know, which will probably be a slightly different adventure again, you know, but it's what it is, just, you know. It's about being alive, you know, essentially, and just feeling the energy and just go along with it, you know, and jam it out. Yeah. David, actually, the first time I met David was he came, I think it was in Germany in 2007 or something. Shortly before I quit the band. He came to a show in Frankfurt, if I'm not mistaken, and we ended up chatting for several hours in the bus. And he came to see the show, and we kept in touch sporadically. And when he got out of Morbid, that's how we decided to work together, you know. For Flo, first time I met him, I think it was in New York. We were doing a project together there. I was just hired musician and so was he, essentially. But we became friends like in an instant, you know, and we realized we had a very good chemistry together, you know, when jamming and playing music. So yeah, this was some years prior. I think we did the project in around 2011 or something. So yeah, and we kept in touch ever since, you know. Yeah, it's. I think it's even wider. You know, one of the things that, if you listen to the first record, there's also a lot of elements going on in the first record. On the first record, we have some like semi-acoustic things. We have extreme blast, and we have everything in between. You know, so I think it also was kind of quite open to what we would do next. You know, it could go either way. We could do something very, very extreme, or we could go in a different direction, like more kind of direct, or you know, slightly more heavy metal orientated, if you will. And yeah, it was just again one of those things. We just meet up. We never really have a plan. How is the next album going to sound like? You know, it's never like that. We meet up. I have a bunch of riffs. We start jamming on the riffs, and from there on we create the songs. You know, so it's all about spontaneity. You know, it's in the moment. So. But yeah, it's probably a bit more immediate, but it's also slightly darker in my opinion. It's because I mean we came out of the pandemic, you know. It was 2 years with complete lockdown, so we couldn't travel, and you know, essentially we rehearsed in Austin, Texas. So needless to say, I was stuck on this side of the pond, and you know, the others there, so we couldn't really do anything together. So I think a bit of the murk from the pandemic kind of. Showed, you know, like it's kind of audible on the record, you know, a little bit, maybe darker thoughts, if you will, you know. So yeah, but it was something that we kind of also discussed a bit, that we didn't want to go further in a more technical direction, you know. It's like kind of bored with that, you know. I'm a heavy metal guy, essentially. I'm born in the mid-70s, you know, and grew up with Kiss and Judas Priest and Deep Purple and Motorhead, these kind of things. So it's like a little bit more full circle in that aspect, I'd say. A bit more immediate, a bit more classic. So yeah. No, we didn't record it in Texas. We recorded in Portugal, actually. In northern Portugal, in Arda Recorders, there's a studio there. So we spent like a month in a studio there, essentially in the middle of the city in Porto, yeah. And from I think May 1st until June 1st or something like that, yeah. So yeah, but it was. I mean, I currently reside in Portugal as well, so for me it was very easy. Besides our producer. Jaime Gomez, who also did the first record, he also resides in Portugal and he works from that studio. So he was overseeing the process, you know, so it's very, very easy for us to do that. It's a tough question, you know, it's like I hardly listen to extreme metal myself, you know. I listen more to 70s stuff, essentially. And now more jazz things as well, you know, and even classical things, some 70s prog, you know, Genesis, especially Genesis, Renaissance, The Who. I love The Who a lot in this kind of thing, it's a more rock and roll thing. So I don't really listen to extreme metal that much at all anymore. Once in a while I do. I pick up, you know, Hellaway, Ren in Blood, Bathory, some old Dark Throne stuff, Celtic Frost. But it kind of ends there, you know. It's one thing is to do it yourself, you know. It's like I don't need to listen to that process from some that comes from somebody else. It's like it is it's my outlet, you know. I work in the extreme, and yeah, I don't have the need to listen to it, you know, personally. So yeah. I played in a death metal band. I guess that's the first. It was in the late '80s, no, early '90s or something. Yeah, and we did a show together with some local death metal or thrash metal bands in the countryside of Norway. A place called Ornes, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I don't even remember if I was nervous. I don't really think so. I was kind of, determined and confident in my abilities, I guess, from an early age. So yeah, I don't think so, really. Yeah. I have something on my leg that was, I think it was sent out by NASA as a disc containing the element of Earth. In case, alien civilizations would come across this disc, it will be the description of what the Earth is made of. It's like a binary tattoo that I have on my leg. It's pretty cool. It's one of the first ones I did as well. How many hours do we have? I really don't know now, but people, there's always something. It's like I can sit and talk to my friends, and I heard that was the reason why you guys didn't do that. And it's like, no. And it's like it seems like people invent just for the sake of having something to say, which is unfortunate. I don't really know the craziest thing, but I'm sure it's pretty crazy. I just don't remember right now. Yeah, it's unfortunate that it's someone says something and then there's a snowball effect, and then someone picks up a part of that and make it their own interpretation. And truth is a hard thing to come by these days, sadly, even in media. I would definitely go deeper into painting. I love to paint. It's a passion of mine. So I would stick to doing arts in a way, and yeah, I would definitely do more painting.